Hey y'all, so today's video I just wanted to talk about like the real reason why you can't stay motivated to like do the goals that you want to do like with the new year. Probably a lot of you have started your resolutions and then sadly didn't, go through with it through the second month. If you have, keep going, keep that motivation. But I was reading a book, about trying to be perfect in an imperfect world and just struggling to find your perfect and comparing yourself to other people. And it helped me realize that like a lot of the reason why people can't stay motivated is because of shame. And that's a horrible, word in our society. We try not to use it as much. Usually when you hear it, you have different memories that just keep popping up in your head over and over, like, oh my goodness, shame is bad, shame is guilt. And the reality is that shame is an everyday part of our life. It really dictates what we do and how we live our lives. And so I just want to start off by defining what shame is. And shame is different than guilt. Shame is that negative self-talk that you have that's like, I'm bad, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough. That is shame. Guilt is more of, oh no, I did something bad, I acted bad, I made my friends feel bad. It's a difference in the behaviors and how you treat yourself. That's one of the main differences between shame and guilt. Shame is your perception of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough to do this. So like if you try to work out and you go to the gym and you see all these people that probably have been going to the gym for like years and you're just starting out and you're like, I'm not fit enough, I can't do the weights because I'm not strong enough, that is more of shame talk. Shame talk is telling yourself that you are not good enough to do something that someone else is doing because of whatever reason, whatever past reasons, whatever past perceptions you have of yourself or what people have told you about yourself. That is something that you hold on to and what quickly stops you from doing what you want to do. So shame is different from guilt in this sense because when you feel guilt, you usually try to change your behavior to do positive. So like if you felt guilty about not helping your friend out, the next time the situation arises, you'll most likely help her out so you avoid feeling guilt. With shame, if you feel shameful about yourself and you do negative self-talk, it'll just throw you down a rabbit hole where it's like, well, if I'm not good enough, then I'm just not gonna do this because I can't do it. It's not a motivator. It actually reduces your motivation. When we feel shame, we're more likely to engage in self-destructive behaviors. So like, for me, my example would be my YouTube channel. So when you feel shame, it's usually because you're in a vulnerable position. You let yourself be vulnerable. You open up this door that you've never opened before, and now you're trying to do something new, and you don't, you're not sure how you fit into it and stuff like that. For me, I am new to YouTube. I'm new to making videos. I'm new to recording myself, editing, and posting it online for people to see. I've wanted to do it for many years because I feel like I have a lot to say that I wish someone had told me without me having to find it out, usually the hard way, or having to read like hundreds of books to even have this realization. I want to be able to help someone get that information a lot quicker that can help their life and they don't have to go through as much troubles as I did. So I'm new to making videos and I'm not good at finding the perfect background or the perfect setting. And so I've been recording in my room for the past couple of videos, which I like it. It's, it's very clean, it's very easy, there's not too much distraction going on. And so when I posted my last video, I asked my boyfriend to watch it and to say, what he thinks about it. And he was telling me that he doesn't think that this setting is good. He doesn't think it's like good enough. He thinks it's too boring and it needs to be more lively, more exciting. And my initial reaction was, in my mind, I thought he was telling me that I'm wrong and that what I'm doing is wrong and that I need to stop. And I probably would have stopped making videos if I hadn't, had this realization or read the book and gotten to this point where I'm just like, I have to take a step back and realize that he is not attacking me. He's not telling me that I am a bad person. He's not telling me that my videos are horrible, I need to stop doing YouTube. He's just trying to help me out, trying to do constructive criticism. And so my shame was trying to take what he was doing and turn it really negative, and that would have made me completely stop. But I'm trying to develop shame resilience, which is what I'm going to explain in a little bit about. It helps you defeat the shame that arises when you're in these situations where shame would usually demotivate you and get you off track. Shame resilience helps you tell shame to just shut the hell up, and we'll move on from it, and you'll grow and you'll continue doing what you know is good for you. So shame resilience is basically not letting shame deter you from what you want to really do. Not letting shame deter you from the person that you want to become or what you want to achieve or anything of that sort. And so there are 4 elements of shame resilience. The first element is to understand your triggers. For me, my trigger is being told I'm wrong or being in a vulnerable spot and then not knowing. Because for me, I'm so used to being in the academic field and just getting all A's and just knowing all the stuff that they taught me, that when I'm in a spot that I'm very new to this, world, that I feel attacked when I'm told that what I'm doing is wrong, and not like, oh, they're just telling me to help me out. It feels like they're diminishing me as a person. And so, understanding that that is one of my triggers helps me to, when I see it happening, take a step back and just like breathe and like, okay, actually, what's really going on? And then the second element of shame resilience is to reality check societal messages. So society is always telling you that you need to be perfect, and if you're not perfect, you're inadequate. And that's just not the truth. Perfection isn't real. There's no such thing as perfect. There's no one person that's perfect. There's no one life that's perfect. There's a picture that society makes, and then nobody fits in that mold, so everybody thinks they're not perfect. And so there's these advertisements that's like, if you do this, you'll be perfect. If you do this, you'll be perfect. And you have to understand that, and you have to reality check. Society is lying to you. There's no perfection. Everybody is different. There are 7 billion people in this world, and not one person thinks the same, acts the same, talks the same. Nobody. So you have to also remember with shame resilience that society is not what it seems, what it is telling you it is. The third element of shame resilience is one of the hardest, and it's talking about your shame. Talking about your shame is so scary because shame grows as you keep it quiet. You sit there and you just keep it quiet, and you don't address it, you don't bring it up, you don't talk about it to anybody, and so it keeps festering and growing because you still feel ashamed of that action or ashamed of who you are. And the more you talk about it, the less power shame has, because you'll most likely find there's a community of people that feel the exact same way that you feel, that feel ashamed when they do a certain thing, that feel ashamed when they act like this. And so talking about it gives you more power than your shame. And then the fourth element of shame resilience is to ask for help when you need it. It can be extremely difficult having to reach out and ask for help. But I know on the other side, if someone was to ask me for help, I would do it hands down, because I don't feel as if they're less than or they're not enough that they're asking for help. But if I was to ask somebody else for help, I would feel like, oh, they're judging me, they think I'm less than. And majority of the time, they're not. They're ready to help with open arms. And so, it just always takes that first step of just asking. And then you realize how helpful it is and how great it feels to have a community and just people around you that can help you get through certain hard spots in your life. And so I'm talking about shame resilience like it's the easiest thing in the world. And it's not. It's probably one of the hardest things you'll probably ever have to do, because it makes you talk to yourself differently than what society and what your whole life has told you. And so there are 4 questions that you can ask yourself when you're in the moment, that can help you build up the shame resilience that you want. The first question is, what do you do when you're backed up into a corner? What do you do when you're put on the spot where you don't think you can escape, you don't think you can do anything? What do you do? For me, I get very defensive and very aggressive. And so I have to recognize that I can't, like when I recognize that I'm doing that, I have to go back to what I know about shame resilience and take a step back. Just recognizing your behaviors helps you be able to address the situation when it's happening. Because a lot of the time you don't even know. Like, it takes a while for you to figure it out. I've been learning about shame and shame resilience for a while now, and it's still very new. Like, this whole situation that happened with the YouTube videos and the setting with my boyfriend happened just last week. And I still have to keep reminding myself, hey, you know, you're resorting back to past behaviors, you know, let's try to think more positive. Try to think of a different way than you normally think. The second question goes along with the first one is, how do you protect yourself? So when you're backed up into that corner, what is it that you do that you know would protect you in that scene, in that moment, but you know might not be the most positive thing, might not be the most helpful thing in your life to do? The third question is, who do you call when you're in one of these positions? When you are feeling a lot of shame, you're feeling a lot of self-doubt and negative self-worth, who do you call? Because not everyone we let into our lives will see that part of us. And it's really hard to, first of all, open up. But once you do, you'll feel great. Honestly, it's hard at first, but the more you do it, the better you'll feel and the less shame that you'll feel about certain situations. But it's important to have that person that you know you can run to, that won't judge you, they won't look at you negatively, they won't baby you, they won't coddle you, they won't enable you. Who is it that you can call that will help you get through your shame, help you talk through it and move past it and develop the shame resilience that you need? Because you need that person. That person is very important. And then the fourth question that you can ask is, what do you do, or what can you do that's the most courageous thing you could do when you're feeling very small and very hurt? So when you're feeling shame, you usually feel small, you feel hurt, you feel like you are, you know, being seen by everyone, your negativities, your flaws are showing. What can you do that will make you the most courageous? For me, I have to be able to admit that I'm wrong. And I know that sounds like so little. Like, people admit that they're wrong all the time. It's really hard for me to do that. It's really hard for me to admit I'm wrong with something I don't know. Which doesn't make sense, because, you know, if you don't know, then you should be expected to be wrong. But it hurts me, and it hurts my self-worth when it's like, oh, you're wrong, you can't know this. Because I just sit there and do all the negative self-talk that really just eats away at me as a person. And so what I can do, the most courageous thing, is to admit out loud that I was wrong. And when I do that, that self-talk, it has no power. Because, yeah, okay, I admitted it. Now what else do they have to do? Nothing. And so, like, asking yourself these questions helps you build up the shame resilience that you need to just combat the little things, to help you move forward and to help you keep your motivation. Because shame is something that everybody in this society deals with, because this society puts pressure on people to be perfect, and perfect isn't real. That's one thing that you need to remember, is that with shame, it's always negative self-talk about, oh, if you were this, if you were that, pushing you to believe that you need to be something else instead of embracing who you really are and being the best you that you can be. And so I just want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, you know, you continue watching. I do a lot of talk, self-help talk and stuff like that. I do have a website called modernmillennial.net. Millennial only has one N because I am taking the negativity out of the title of millennial. I do post blogs, so usually my YouTube videos are based off of the blogs that I posted the week before, the week of or the week before. So I make a YouTube video after I've already made the blog post. So if you want to check that out first, you'll get the information first over there. And follow my social media, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!